I have a bit of a rhetorical question for you. What you just heard, me playing a walking line on a fast rhythm changes, did it sound like it basically worked to you? Did it sound essentially fundamentally right? I hope so, and I ask because I wonder whether what I'm thinking is showing through. And the reason I'm talking about this is because a viewer had asked about rhythm changes. Can you say something about it? They said. They said they were having some trouble at a jam session or a gig, their hand hurt at the end, which makes sense, and asked me to sort of say some things about it, about rhythm changes. And I sure can say a lot of things about it. The thing is, of course, my videos tend to be too long, A, and B, I'm also developing a course that I hope to offer to you in the summer that involves a lot of different walking situations, and rhythm changes is an integral part of that. So I don't want to talk about all that stuff that I'm going to fit into this course, but I do have one sort of little trick that isn't new, but I think would be helpful to hear again or to hear for the first time. So let's take a closer look today at making an easy time of rhythm changes. Welcome to Learn Jazz Bass with Matt Rybicki. I'm so glad that you joined me today. Thanks for being here. And please look below for a PDF as well as subscribing if you haven't and liking if you would. I would greatly appreciate it. Do you all know that meme where there's sort of three versions of a character and one is at the end, the first character, he's sort of at the beginning of this journey or beginning of learning something, and there's a sort of bell curve, and then it's his progression on this bell curve. I'll put it up on the screen if you haven't seen it. The idea is at the beginning, it's this character is saying something really, really simple about a topic. And then in the middle, as they progress in their learning, they're deep down in the weeds of it and they're saying all these, the crazy things about the topic and their head is deep in the books. And then at the other end of the bell curve is this sort of Jedi master who is saying the exact same thing as the first person. So when you pass through knowledge, you sort of end up at the same place sometimes. And I feel like rhythm changes is kind of like that. And here's why, and this is sort of this cheat code that I'm talking about. All the A sections, there's 3 A sections, the first 2 and the last one, you can think of it all as B flat major, if you're in the key of B flat, which rhythm changes usually are. It's all B flat major. And the reason I reference the meme like this is because when you're first looking at rhythm changes and you analyze it harmonically, it's mostly just B flat major, and you're like, okay, well, this seems pretty simple. And then you start to get into all the permutations and all, looking at every single chord and so on and so forth, and your head's deep in it. And then at the end, there's the Jedi Master, who is Barry Harris, who says the same thing. I just played B flat major on the A sections to rhythm changes. So it's the exact same thing on both ends of this sort of curve. And of course, what Barry Harris is doing, he's applying a lifetime, or he did apply a lifetime of knowledge and experience and vocabulary to this general idea. But we can use that too. That's what I was doing at the beginning of this whole video. I was just thinking B flat major for this entire time. And that, hopefully, when you try to apply it, will really, really free you up, especially at fast tempos. You don't have to think about every single chord. Just think B flat major the entire time. Now, of course, I wasn't only playing the major scale when I was playing. I was connecting things with chromatic notes and sort of trying to repeat musical ideas and so on and so forth. But a lot of it didn't take a tremendous amount of sort of second by second concentration. I was thinking ahead because I had time to, or sort of space in my head, because I'm thinking this is all B flat major. So give it a try yourself. I think it will be really helpful. Now, there's some situations that you can't sort of cheat. And the first is the bridge. That definitely changes harmony. I mean, you could sort of actually, to be totally honest, you can sort of get away with it there, but you want to indicate and help everyone else in the band too to know this is the bridge, and also like there's some harmony in there that's really going to clash if you just stay on B flat major. So you really need to respect the change when the bridge happens. And the second point to that exact end is you can't cheat the form. If you're only playing B flat major for the entire song, it's not going to sound right. So you must memorize or understand the form, but it's not hard. It's 16 measures of B flat major basically. Then you think, what is the third of this key? That's the root of where the bridge starts, which is D. That's a dominant chord, and it goes up a fourth to another dominant chord, up a fourth to a dominant chord, up a fourth to a dominant chord. Those last two dominant chords are a 2-5, so we're just going 3, 6, 2, 5, and then back to an A section, which is all B flat major. This is super easy to memorize, but we can't cheat it, yeah? The other situation is that we can't cheat if a song that is basically a rhythm changes has lots of different things in it. A really good example of that would be the Eternal Triangle. The bridge is real different than usual. Very, very, very different. You can't get away with playing the same thing there. So too, on a tune like Good Bait, the bridge is not the same. It's basically the rhythm changes the A section up a fourth, but we'll get into that in the course. But I hope that this idea is enough to sort of get you started. When you're playing in a fast tempo, think big. Think big beats, meaning don't think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, da, 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 or even bigger than that, 4-bar sections if you can, and think big harmonic ideas. Don't get too mired down in all the little minutia. Now, the next level up is to respect the change in bar 5 and 6, where you are essentially going to the 4 chord, for lack of a better word. Don't discount that and in your learning and try to make that the next step if this is where you're starting. Try to incorporate that sound of it going to the 4 chord when that's appropriate. That's going to make a big difference. As well as when does the 5 happen or when does it resolve? So in bar 8 or in bar, whatever that be, 10 when it's resolving or setting up the next A section. So don't just keep on this B flat major idea, do progress as you can, but there are utilitarian reasons to understand this. Many times on gigs, we are presented with things we don't quite have our stuff together for yet. And so if somebody calls a rhythm changes and you're not really super confident, you haven't done a whole lot of practice, this is a utilitarian tool, a utilitarian cheat that can get you through the moment. But of course, we got to go home and we got to shed. Shed means to practice. If you all don't know that, I think most of you know that slang, but just in case, we need to go home and practice. We need to understand it. But in the moment, you need to get through the gig. This kind of idea of just thinking B flat major is going to get you there. So that's it for today, and I hope that it was helpful. As always, please like and subscribe, look for a PDF below, and always remember, straight ahead and strive for tone.